If you love chilling mysteries, unsolved cases, and a touch of mom-style humor, Moms and Mysteries is the podcast you've been searching for. Hey guys, I'm Mandy.
And I'm Melissa. Join us every Tuesday for Moms and Mysteries, your gateway to gripping, well-researched true crime stories. Each week, we deep dive into a variety of mind-boggling cases as we shed light on everything from heists to whodunits. We're your go-to podcast for mysteries with a motherly touch. Subscribe now to Moms and Mysteries wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Hello. Wow. Welcome back to Fantasy Avenue. Mikey Andersen here. Whew. We got a doozy. It's 11:07 p.m. It is past my bedtime. But you know what? God, fantasy football doesn't wait. I'm here for you all. Playoff week, my lord. So, we just got to hop into it right now. Mr. Millers, both y'all, shouting you out. Jarrett, listen to this in the car ride to school. I love you. I love you for that. Coach Flynn, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Let's talk business. Yes, sir. And all the other day ones, the newbies, the ESPN recruiters out there recruiting their young talent. Yeah, I know you're here. I don't know how many listens I'm getting an episode, but I realized that it's actually going up by one each time, and I realized that's an ESPN guy. So I love to have you here as well. Let's do it. Let's hop in the episode. I haven't checked my sound. I hope. Trying out a new mic. It looks like a little quiet on my thing, so I'm gonna talk a little louder. I'm having like that burst of energy at 11. It's hitting. Let's do it. Big week. It's the playoff week, so I knew I had to get on my horse and do an episode. Right. This is the week. We've had some big ads, and specifically in some dudes that I've talked about, and man, did they work out. So it's going to be a subtle brag sesh of an episode, because there's low-key a dude at each position that I got to talk about that you should have added and that's balling out, and probably also a guy that hasn't popped off yet, but will, and I'm calling it. All right, couple of dudes. First of all, big NFL week. I'm doing this on a Saturday night. It's like 9 hours until, wait, don't check my math. 13 hours approximately until NFL football. And you know what that means? It's playoff week, baby. I turned 18 a couple months ago. I do not really like to sports bet on teams other than the Broncos. Some would call that emotional betting. I would say I know more about the Broncos than anything else, than any other team. So I might as well feel confident that I'm going to bet my money on them, okay? I have a pretty penny. Pretty penny. It's like $20. I'm broke. Actually, I got a job. Update for all the real homies out there who actually know me. I got a job. It's pretty fire. But I have like $20 on the Broncos winning tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, they have like a 95% chance to to make the playoffs. Against the Colts. If they lose, it goes down to like 40%. So basically, I'm emotionally betting that the Broncos are going to make the playoffs because oh my God, they have to. They deserve it so bad. Bo Nix has been a freaking animal this year compared to expectations. So I love talking about that. And you better believe that the Fantasy Avenue Instagram at the Fantasy Avenue Podcast, in case you don't follow it, I get more listens an episode than followers I have. So I know some people aren't subscribed to the page. If you're not one of the people that are subscribed or that aren't subscribed, get to it, please. Fix that, because you better believe I'm going to have a playoff update if the Broncos win tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about it. All right, that's my NFL update. That's my week update. It's almost Christmas. My God, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great right now. Let's hop into it. Who are the dudes last week? That's kind of, if you're new to the podcast, that's kind of what I start with. I look at the previous week, right? And I kind of decide, I kind of talk about the highlights and then decide if any of the dudes are worth an ad going into next week, or if they were one and done, or if they're probably picked up in most leagues. There's some dudes we have to talk about. First of all, I just remembered another thing. The Heisman just happened tonight. We'll talk about that later. That's later on in the episode. Right now, I'm talking about Josh Allen. Oh my God. Who are people who I know have Josh Allen? Grant, Blythe, shout out Blythe, and me. Those are three people who I know have Josh Allen, and man, were we swimming in the points. 51.9 points, the most a quarterback has ever scored in a fantasy game. And you know why? Because he's a freaking running back. Do you know he has more rushing touchdowns than Terrell Davis? Now, he's actually played a couple seasons longer than Terrell Davis, or like one season longer of full It's crazy. Terrell Davis played 5 full seasons, and he's in the Hall of Fame. That just shows you. He played 7 in total, I think. But that just shows you, like, what an animal he was. But Josh Allen has more touchdowns than him. Terrell Davis was a Hall of Fame running back. Like, that's how Josh Allen is scoring points. People are like, how is this quarterback scoring points? Dude, he's a quarterback-running back combo. I've been talking about this. This is one of the things I've been talking about. You have to draft. I mean, it is just, fantasy has changed, honestly. The fantasy landscape has changed to where you have to draft quarterbacks who can run. If you're not drafting quarterbacks who can run, you're honestly, I don't know, I feel like you're kind of screwed because there's so many more points found in a quarterback who can run than not. And there's really, I mean, there's not a Tom Brady, Peyton Manning-esque, drop back and throw the rock quarterback, I feel like, anymore. Like, Justin Herbert is like the guy that immediately comes to mind, but he uses his legs. Got to have a quarterback who can use his legs, and Josh Allen proves how in fantasy that is so important. Now, you look at the other dudes, Sam Darnold and Joe Burrow, both, I mean, Joe Burrow had 24. Josh Allen doubled the third most quarterback of the week. That's insane. Those dudes are drop back passers, right? But you're never going to consistently find a lot of points because quarterbacks are not going to consistently throw for 350 yards. Now, however, Josh Allen does consistently rush for 50 yards and does consistently score a rushing touchdown or 3. It's insane. It's just exciting. Honestly, oh man, get me fired up. Running backs. Now here's where I'm living. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that I've been calling these dudes out since day one. And holy crap, did they ball. If you want, let's check the receipts, right? Who did I say to add last week for running backs? Okay, now some of them are obvious. Some of them all the guys have been talking about, the fantasy like Instagrams or whatever, and others not. I told 5 running backs. I just want to say this, all right? 5 running backs. The running backs I called out were Zach Charbonnet, Isaac Guerrero, Isaiah Davis, Ty Johnson, and Tank Bisbee. 5 names. Tank Bisbee scored 13. Available in 40% of leagues. He is a pickup. Now, I will admit, if you check the receipts, you will not find Ty Johnson. Because I was talking about this guy this week before Thursday Night Football, and I didn't make an episode. Okay, so I'll take a little bit of backlash for saying that. But I was telling people the Rams defense cannot stop the run, and they cannot stop the short pass, which Ty Johnson receives a lot of. He's a receiving back. Well, he scored 2 touchdowns in the game, scored 13 points. Really didn't do anything except for score. The Rams' offense or defense is historically bad in the red zone. I saw it coming. If only I would have made an episode a little earlier, I could really be taking credit for it. I'm still going to take credit for it. But what? Mikey, you're going, Mikey, that's 13 points. That doesn't matter. Isaiah Davis, available in 70% of leagues. I picked this dude up in 2 leagues. He dropped me 15 points. One of the leagues, I had 1 running back not hurt or on bye on my entire roster. Like I had to use the waiver wire. And I said, Isaiah Davis, yes, you have competition in the backfield, okay? You are not the only dude. What is his name? I can't think of his name. The really young guy, the 20-year-old on the Jets, the running back. Super hyped because of his age, but I was like, I honestly see more explosiveness, more potential from the other rookie running back on the Jets, Isaiah Davis. Pick him up. Now, I'm not sure if Braylon Allen was the other one. There you go. Breece Hall sidelined with an injury. If Breece Hall doesn't play, Isaiah Davis is my number 1 ad of the week because he's available in 70% of leagues. None of these other dudes are going to be available in that many leagues. Like, he's the one, okay? Let's finish off. Who are the last guys you're asking? Well, one of them dropped 26. Now, all the analysts were talking about this guy, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on him. Isaac Guerrero. If he is still available in your leagues, I believe he might be hurt this week. Whoever the 49ers fourth string is, I don't even know his name, and it's too risky for me. But if you're really in need of a running back and Isaiah Davis is not available, I mean, historically, the 49ers don't care that it's your first game of your career. They give you the rock a lot. So if you want to just bet perfectly on now, it's a little risky. It's the fantasy playoffs now. You don't have the luxury of making no mistakes anymore. But if you want to risk it, you're betting on talent. And he's an NFL running back, so he's not known. I don't know him, but he's got to have some talent. He's got to have some juice in his legs. He made it to the league. All right, the last guy. This is the guy I've been waiting. Zach Charbonnet. Okay, available in 60% of leagues before this week. Now he's available in 20% of leagues. If this dude's available, oh my God, you got to pick him up. 193 total yards, 2 total touchdowns, 7 catches. The usage was insane. 38 points, top running back overall, and you better believe I picked him up, okay? Now, I don't want to credit him for getting me into the fantasy playoffs in one of my leagues, and I'm not going to shout out the league because I don't want no backlash about that comment, but he got me in, all right? He got me in, and you, the league makes, whoa, what just happened? I'm not going to edit that out because you guys need to know I'm not perfect, okay? I'm actually going to pause it and listen to it and not edit it out. Okay, I unpaused it. Wow, yeah, that was really rough. What I was trying to say was, and the league mates who are in that league know who you are. I stole them. And you guys could steal them too. Go ahead. All right, receivers. Let's move on to receivers. Receivers, I have one comment. English, Mr. Miller. I got to throw in the English because I got 2 of them listeners. Miller Benton, I don't even know if he's like 2.5. I don't think he listens to the podcast. He's too wrapped up in whatever he listens to, like Young Thug. I think Miller's a Young Thug fan. Anyway, Juwan Jennings, English Mr. Miller. Yeah, I knew he wasn't very consistent, and I'm not gonna beat around the bush. You told our whole English class, including some of my best friends and a certain someone, you told them that I gave you some bad advice. Okay, and my God, I mean, I knew he was inconsistent. That's all I could give you. All right. Now, I'll bite the bullet a little bit. It wasn't great advice, but you were like, I'm definitely starting him next week. Well, how many points did he drop against the Rams? How many points? Did I have English class on Friday? I think I did. I can't believe you didn't talk to me about this. Oh, I saw you at the Bobcat game. Man, I should have mentioned it. He scored 5 points. All right, Mr. Miller? Now, I'm not saying I'm no expert, okay? In fact, I'm a novice, all right? But I saw inconsistency, and I really just told you at the wrong time. All right, now I'm sorry, but I don't want you going and not. I like giving you advice, okay? I don't want you seeing my advice and going, I can't take it, because if you realize that my astrology, I don't live in months, right? I live in the moon cycle, okay? It was really cloudy last week when Juwan Jennings dropped 30 points. I never saw the moon, so I didn't know what time of the month it was. This week, I looked up, it was clear, and I was like, dang, I'm off by a week. The advice I gave you was a week off because I couldn't see the moon cycle. So, Mr. Miller, I'm sorry. I am. But I looked at the forecast, okay? I looked at the forecast at night, and specifically in my area of Bozeman, Montana, it's going to be clear skies at least once a week until the playoff season's over, all right? So I'm not going to mess up my weeks anymore, okay? And I want to tell you that I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry that I was off and that you couldn't trust me at the right time. You still could trust me. Now we'll get to that in a second. An example that you could trust me with the tight ends. But we're kind of done with receivers. The receivers, like what? Jamar Chase dropped like 45. I mean, the receivers who did good this week are the good receivers. That's all it is. Okay. But as for Juwan Jennings, my weeks were off, and I'm sorry for that. But I hope, you know what I hope? I hope that the tight end I told you kind of repaid that a little bit. All right, let's move to tight ends. Tight ends got me fired up. And I'm really saying, like, usually I go through all the leaders, right, and I talk about the best, and then I kind of go back through and talk about who you should pick up. I'm doing both right now. Okay, I'm doing both because I'm telling you who you should pick up for next week due to who did good last week, because these dudes are still available and they're still guys you should pick up. Top 3 tight ends: George Kittle, no surprise, animal. David Njoku, no surprise, animal. Morgan Mock, should have traded him earlier in the season. Now I have to play Morgan in the playoffs. I'm not happy I have to play against David Njoku. Oh, Morgan, he's sitting in the car. He's basically making me a trade. I push freaking send, and he's like, I don't know. Like, are you kidding me? Have some backbone, bro. Should have given me. I mean, if I'm sitting in the Morgan shoes, he made the right choice. Okay, so I'm not gonna like call him dumb. I'm just gonna say it's a little frustrating when I thought I had gold in my grasps, and the man who kind of stole me the gold then said, no, let's put it back. That's kind of how I felt, right? My criminal accomplice realized he was stealing from himself, and that's a hard truth to look at. But anyway, those are the top 2, and number 3, English Mr. Miller. You know about this one. Juwan Johnson, 15. His, what is it? Highest, I believe that's the highest score of his whole season. I knew it was coming, and you better believe it's going to come for the rest of the season. Taysom Hill, have you heard that name? 42 points? Yeah, he's out. He's out. Juwan Johnson is not as talented at scoring fantasy points as Taysom Hill, but he's going to get targets, which he did. He's going to get catches, which he did, and he's a big body. He better get some balls in the end zone. I mean, if you find the end zone as a big man, you better expect the balls coming your way, and he did. He dropped 15. If you're picking up a waiver wire tight end, I mean, if Fantasy Avenue is telling you to pick up a top 3 player, by golly, be thankful. All right? That's the tight ends. Kickers, defense, I believe in you guys to find the kickers who are the best kickers. We know the offenses who score points, the defenses who score points. Harrison Butker's a guy to look at. He's coming back. I think a lot of leagues have dropped him at this point. The Broncos defense, the Ravens defense, those are 2 of my top defenses this week. I mean, those are 2 of the top defenses, period. But I've already talked about the Broncos playing the Colts team. They either got to show up or shut up. And I love betting on the defense right there. And then, that is a perfect segue to finish my episode and talk about somebody who I believe got absolutely screwed and someone who's going to show up and show out the next time he plays football. Ashton Jeanty for Heisman did not win. Similar to my running in AP government, I dominated the competition in my personal opinion, but I could not overcome the bias of my voters. If you start out in the party of my competitor and then you end up losing and thus become one of our voting parties, no surprise you voted for my competitor since you started in the same party. That annoys me a little bit because I feel like I didn't have a chance. 3 of them, two of my party members voting, I lost 3-2. So what do you think? Anyway, Ashton Jeanty, I feel your pain. Travis Hunter, a good player. A good athlete. Do I think he's going to be an all-star in the NFL? No, I do not. He's not going to play both sides of the ball in the NFL. If he does, more power to him, but I just don't see him doing it. And I don't think his skills are that high at either that they're going to be like, let's do both, right? I think he's a really, really athletic corner. I think he's a good jump ball receiver. And I think if he honed in one of these parts of his games, he'd become a good player. He's never going to be a Pat Surtain at corner. I just don't think he is. I think he's great ball skills, but he gets burnt, okay? He's never going to be like a Jamar Chase receiver. He just doesn't have as good of skills. So I think he needs to pick one and get better at him because I don't think the NFL game is fit for someone who can play both sides of the ball. I just don't think they can, and I honestly think he's not going to be good enough at either to make a solid difference unless he picks, okay? He was a good player, but he was not a game wrecker by any means, all right? And for you to draft that man, and I'm assuming the top 5, he's not going to go later than that, thinking he's going to do both, thinking that you don't need to change up the work routine and whatever and develop him. I don't know. I'm just like, obviously they're going to develop him as an NFL team, but people are saying he's NFL ready to play 2 positions, and I'm like, no, he's not. He's not. He's a good athletic player, but he needs work, and I honestly just don't think he has time to put in that work unless he picks one position. So that's going to be a tough one for me. We're going to see. Ashton Jeanty, meanwhile, what are you serious? He had one of the greatest seasons a running backs ever had, completely changed the trajectory of his team. If you put Ashton Jeanty on Colorado, they are in the playoffs. I guarantee it. If you put Travis Hunter on the freaking Boise State Broncos, I think they get 5 or 6 wins. Okay, I think teams are able to take away him. I mean, think about what players were doing against the Broncos. The Broncos are nothing without Ashton Jeanty. All right, so let's say they swap players. Will the Broncos be something with? We're talking Boise State, all right, too. Come on now. I'm talking about my Broncos. It's getting me fired up, and I'm like, hold up, wrong Bronco, Mikey. I'm going to say Boise State. On the flip side, right, you put Travis Hunter on Boise State, they do the same thing where they game plan for him. Jeanty was going up against 7 and 8 man boxes. If you don't know anything about football, that's just a bunch of dudes to stop the run. You got 5, 6 blockers, 8 or 9 dudes tackling. That means you have to personally take on 2 or 3 dudes. Jeanty was doing it and getting 200 yards, okay? If you double Travis Hunter, you're not getting nothing, all right? And if on offense, if you just run the ball or throw it to the opposite side, Hunter's not going to do much, okay? Do some motions, whatever. You can take him out of the game, and I think for many people, you can say, yeah, put an 8-man box, you're going to take the running back out of the game. Well, you didn't, all right? I don't believe it's the same. Genty literally changed the playoff trajectory. Do I think the playoffs are so screwed? Yeah. I'm going to put it on record right now, especially for the haters like freaking Reese Dahlke, okay? Oregon is the best team in the country, but I do not know if they're going to win the college football playoffs. The way the playoffs are made, the best teams are not at the top. Boise State's like top 4, okay? That's just not real. That's not realistic. Oregon will have to play Texas, Ohio State, and Georgia. I believe the 2, 3, and 4 best teams in the playoffs to win the playoffs, okay? Georgia will have to play one of those 3 to win. How is Oregon not on the side of Georgia? It's stupid. So for all the people who are keeping receipts, I put money. Now, I don't want to sound like a deranged sports bettor. I bet when I think I know. I put money on Georgia to make the national championship because they don't have to play a legit team until they do. Right? That's a smart bet. What Genty did this year was put a team that's in the Mountain West, just a bottom feeder program for the last 10 years, and a team that a lot of people laugh at because their freaking field is blue, and you put them in the conversation with the best teams in the country, above teams like Alabama, who may or may not have should have made it. The fact that Travis Hunter, a dude who plays both sides of the ball but is not best at either thing, on a team who didn't even make the playoffs, wins the award for the best player in the country is just baffling. Like, how are you the best player on a team that's not good? Find me an MVP who's on a bad team. It's not a thing. If you win MVP in the NFL, your team's damn good because you had to be, right? Because you had to be good enough to make your team good. I'm talking like I'm a Boise State fan. I'm not. I don't care. But it's just like, man, at what point are we going to stop giving I just got pen on my sweatshirt because I'm so freaking passionate. Crap, I need to put this pen down. I'm just like, at what point does these media votes, these like voted by panels, it's like, I know there's really no way else to vote for it, I guess. You have to have educated people, but then they still make human error decisions of popularity and pizzazz and the stuff that I'm like, I don't know. I know there's people out there who have the exact same arguments as me, but flipped, and they're like, how do you only look at stats? And it's just like, I don't even know how to judge this stuff. It just seems impossible. Someone's always going to be mad, and this time is a really good example of something that you can really point the finger at, popularity and nationwide like focus the whole year, and you can say that's why he won. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, yeah, that's why Hunter won. When in reality, I don't know. I don't know what goes into it. I just know that it happens. And I feel bad for a running back who ran his tail off and carried his team to the playoffs when he's got no hardware. But I'm going to tell you right now, I usually bet when I have a really good feeling, and I'm betting money. I'm betting low amounts of money on stuff that I'm pretty sure is going to happen. And I don't know what the over under on Genty's rushing yards is, but I'm very confident that it's going to be over. Because I am very confident he's going to run some players' faces over come his game. He's going to be mad. Boise State's whole coaching staff is going to be mad. They're going to feed him the rock, all right? And I'm going to be here swimming in my dollar bills when he passes his rushing total. That's all I got. I gave the fantasy advice. Then I went on a rant about the Heisman. Man, what a night. It's 11:33. Whoa, 11:33. Man, I haven't stayed up this late since like 7th grade. That's definitely not true. Well, who can tell me it's not true? Nobody. I'm sitting in my room alone. That is true. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. This is a good episode, man. Wow. You want to talk about football? You want to hear me with some energy in my voice? Get me talking at 11 o'clock at night. ESPN. I know you got late night talk shows. I know you do. Let me just live my life all day and then say, hey, Mikey, come in and talk about football. And I'll be like, heck yeah, dude. NFL Network, I'm on my way. That'll be it. That's it. Signing off. Hopefully by this time next week, I'm still in the playoffs in all my leagues. But for now, Mikey Andersen, Fantasy Avenue. Peace.